I couldn't ask for a better place to work than Gem Collectors with Shawn, with my favorite two amazing production folks. And that would be Asif, the director of production. Really huge department he's responsible for. And he is the one that does the graphics. And Dave, of course, been here for a long, long time with me as well, who truly shoots the mineral specimens better than any of the other cameramen. And a lot of that, of course, is just from working together for years. He knows exactly the shot, reads my mind, all while he is creating goofy pictures of myself on his phone. This man is multi-talented. Welcome. I hope all of you have gotten through the holiday blues, holiday broken bank accounts, etc. If you hear me have to cough to the side with my mouth covered, it's better than me. I can't, like, in this show, I can't cut off my microphone because then in the end, in editing, it won't sound right. So you just might have to put up with that. If these guys make me laugh like they were just before we started, that's what can occur. Laughter is the best medicine. I have an amazing show planned, so I want to get to it. I'm also, and I have never done this before, we used to do it in the live show that we had for 9 years, the 3 a.m. to 9 a.m., Raven and I, Monday morning, and kind of tease you as to what may be coming up in future shows. I haven't done that here before, but I'm going to today. And when I get ready to, wait till you hear this story. There's something to be said for collecting for 53 years. One thing is, you don't have enough room, even if you count the windowsills, the kitchen sills, the backsplash in a kitchen, that little 1-inch wide rim. Yep, I think I might have told you, but some of you may not have heard before. The Raven, and I just all of a sudden one day noticed she had taken part of our collection of Oko geodes, the world's smallest geode, tremendous geode. I've sold them here, and lined in that one little inch ledge, was able to get everyone lined up all along that ledge. I thought it was the coolest thing is. So anyway, if you take every available surface in the house, we still have such a large collection beyond that. And I'm not talking about inventory that was used for business. No, I'm talking about personal inventory. And that's why you're seeing so many, when it says Shawn on the tag. You're seeing so much of that now because they were our personal collection. But now, of course, the older I got, it was like, I realized, wow, it's time to start selling some of this or sharing some of it. And so I go back to, even if you rotate your collection out and move them around and rearrange them and put up others and get new out, you don't get it, and do it in a rotation, you don't get to see some of the items for many, many years. I am going to give you a preview today of a collection, actually several, that I have never offered in the 6 years that we have been doing just this podcast. And 317 shows. In those 6 years, the rotation of the inventory has never gotten to what I'm going to get ready to show you just as a preview. Now, none of it's inventoried. If all goes well, I'll be introducing some of it into the show next week. But I have also finally decided I can mentally let go. In other words, take them from what I consider part of my personal collection that are not for sale, and then, be willing to share them. So I have to get to that emotional state. But when you see them, you're going to understand why. All right, so I'm going to lead off with that. We have a lot. I think I can do the entire show today, never showing you an item that you have already seen. Now, I may throw in some others for sale reasons or something like that, but you're going to have a great show. Here's the other thing I want to say right now. Maybe due to the holidays, or maybe the question was too hard for the trivia. But when there's only two people that answer, and I don't mean two people correct answers, just only two of you, Cindy and Penny, answered, then what I like to do is not do the trivia, not hold the trivia. Instead, take your two names and add them to next week's show. So you basically have two entries into next week's show so that we have a bigger pool of people. But I will read the question and you'll get to hear the answer. And it was a great question. But maybe, just maybe, but that's how you learn. Maybe you didn't, not too many of you. But you know what? I think it's the holidays because not too many people were able to get their comments in. And if you noticed, boy, the show posted on Monday, boom, right on schedule. Okay, let's go. Cindy in Pennsylvania. Hello, Rock family. That was a fun show. Great specimens. Really enjoyed them all. Wait till you see today, Cindy. The cave exploration was wonderful. Remember, Cindy, just by an off chance, was talking to her girlfriend, and the word cave came up, and that struck up an entire new part of their relationship that they didn't even know each other liked. So the cave exploration was wonderful. There was phosphorescent rock, green, orange, and blue fluorescence throughout on the floors, walls, and ceilings. Some wonderful formations. I know, I like the way they call and name the different formations, you know, from bacon and all these other names. Some wonderful formations, drippy, wet, muddy, joy, limestone and calcite walls. And that is what forms those caves, is the least amount of water is all it takes over the key to creating caverns, and that is time. You might only get a trickle, but you take that trickle and you do it over time and over the occasional floods that really force a lot of water through and enlarge them, you know, put 10,000 years of wear on them in a one good rainfall type of thing. So also what matters a lot is the acidity of the rain. Now, unfortunately, at the top of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, like Clingman's Dome, Mount Mitchell, they're finding a lot of dead trees, and that is, they've discovered, due to acid rain. Rain picking up a high acidic content in the air, and that's what happens over time, kills the trees off. So that same water, when it percolates down into a carbonate type soil, in other words, a limestone soil, which many parts of the United States used to be underwater, which is where a lot of the sedimentary rock and all the limestone formations come from. And bingo, what do you have? Caves. Remember, Florida at one time used to be underwater. That's where you got your agate formations. And at one time, caverns that are now underwater were not. So you have to factor in geology. And when you factor in geology, the things that goes directly opposite it is time. Time and geology, it's amazing how it can change so many things on Earth and underground as well. So acid and carbonate rock, and you get caves. That or a gold vein, and then you get a man-made one. I know, they're all around where I live. The cave was discovered in the 1880s, opened to the public in the 1930s, had a one-room shelter built over the entrance. Since then, it has changed hands a few times, and a house was added to the original shelter. That's what I always wanted. I always wanted either a mine shaft or a cave or something that I could build a home around, and it'd be like my secret room, my panic room, you know? Wouldn't that be really cool? And I actually know someone up in, and Miss Gabby would know, outside Helen, in where I used to live in Sky Lake. And I was so jealous. Now, we had a neat house that I had built trout ponds on, and we were the youngest homeowners at 31 years old at the time to live in Sky Lake, which was mostly a retirement community. But I ended up doing a study on the 1,300 acres of the old gold mine shafts on that property. So in their monthly bulletin, I wrote up an entire article on it and did the research. And it was really neat to discover these, because I would talk to different residents and they thought, well, we thought we saw one when we were hiking here and there, so I tracked them all down. But the one that made me the most jealous was the guy that actually had a mine shaft on his property. In other words, it wasn't on the common grounds. It was actually legally on his property. And he had run lights in it, and he didn't have any idea about any rocks. He wasn't a rock hound or anything. But I thought, wow, this is really cool. And if nothing else, what a great place to grow some mushrooms. It was really, I don't know, something energizes me about that. I love a good old mine shaft. So you enter through that original room, and the rest is the home of the current owners. You literally go down a staircase to the basement. The basement is the cavern. Legend has it a local small-time criminal known for his recurrent jailbreaks hid in some of the caverns, of which there are 3 altogether. Hubby and I swam in the 2 limestone quarries surrounding the location till they started arresting people for trespassing. A murdered woman was found in one of them later. I had no awareness of the caves back then. Hey, I like the trivia question from the minds of the Rock family. Kudos, Brad. Maybe we should submit more for your consideration. So, the question, well, let me read the answer. Gangue is a secondary substance. For example, rhodochrosite that was thrown away as not valuable while mining for, which was the primary substance at the time at the Sweet Home mine, which was silver. But rhodochrosite, whether it's for gold, etc., mostly those two made everything else gangue material, which is spelled Gangue. It is a what is considered a overburden, worthless overburden that gets in the way of getting to the good stuff. There, that's an old grizzled miner explanation of what it is. The second question was talc, T-A-L-Q, is the Arabic word for pure and alludes to the pure color of talc. So there's your question and answer, because the question was what was the meaning of the word talc, and the reference is the Arabic word for pure, because when you grind talc up, you get that talcum powder, which is that really beautiful, beautiful fine white. I know because my mom, old school, used to get this type of powder that she loved, and I was a rockhound young, so I'd always look at the ingredients, knowing that talc was number 1 on the Mohs scale. It's like, okay, so and yeah, talcum powder, and it was really fine white. It was true. Everyone have a wonderful week. See you next Monday. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. So, Cindy, you would have gotten both of those correct. Well done. Penny in Quebec is our only other comment we have. Hello, Shawn, Raven, amazing GSN crew and fellow rockhounds. All the best to everybody and their families for 2024. Gang is the throwaway secondary material found as a result of mining initially for something else, such as rhodochrosite found as a result of silver mining. Talc, Arabic Talq, means purity and named due to the pure white powder of its namesake. Shawn, it was wonderful to hear that you spent quality time with your son, even if he's not a rockhound. I'm sure you have many other things to bond over. Oh, it was great. Yeah, there was no shortage of conversation, and he's traveled the world, of course, having by now a major in the Army, and after doing and surviving 10 months on the front line in Afghanistan, and so. And I also, so we have a lot of travel experience. And actually, I gave him his travel bug early on. And we talked about that the other day. And it all started because I have two older brothers that started the entire karaoke industry and with their own recording studio. And their product, before they sold the company, was the #1 product in the United States for obtaining discs that you sing to. So they would sell to all these karaoke jockeys. And they actually produced all the background music themselves. So they became wealthy. They bought a yacht. And one of the best things you can always say, and it is so true, better ever than owning your own yacht is to know somebody that does. Because it is what they say, extremely expensive to operate. But so my son was 10 years old at the time. So we got invited, flew us down to Miami, went out of Miami over to the Bahamas, zoomed all around, and this was their first yacht. You get upgrade-itis with yachts apparently really quickly, because I'll tell you a quick short story about that. So their yacht was like still a 4-stateroom, 4-head yacht. It wasn't small. They had their own captain, and captain had his own quarters. Okay, so in Paradise Island, in Bahamas, if you've ever been there, there's a very small yacht harbor for the creme de la creme. So they had a slip. So you back into the slips, right? And there wasn't anyone next to their yacht. Well, in the morning, we get up and we think it's cloudy outside because their yacht is shaded by something. I look out my porthole and all I can see is about the water line of, well, put it this way, it made my brother's yacht look like a dinghy. This thing was a monster. And as it turned out, it's what they call the NASCAR yachts were in. Like Tommy Lee Jones' yacht was in the harbor. And these, a small one would have been 125 feet long kind of thing. This yacht was so big, it dwarfed theirs, and they were embarrassed by their dinghy yacht. And they got upgrade-itis. And then the next one was really, really big. So anyway, we were flying back, and it's one of those that you take off right in the harbor, right where all the other big cruise ships are. And when your seaplane pulls into the water and you gurgling on the side of the plane, it just doesn't sound normal. Like, that is not what, So I always think of that amazing landing on the Hudson, Miracle on the Hudson, except this was a small scale. So it actually pulls down into the water, and I'm thinking, really, is it? So it doesn't fly over 5,000 feet, and it was supposed to be a short hopper back to Florida. Well, first trip he got a nosebleed. He and I couldn't sit next to each other, but everyone was really nice. We rearranged seats, and he sat next to me. So that was the first time. So a little incident there. The second time we went on the trip, what happened was Bahama Airways had a strike. And this is kind of funny. So instead of us being able to fly straight back, they routed us through Jamaica. Now, if you know geography, to go from a 90-mile or 100-mile hop from Bahamas to Fort Lauderdale or go to Jamaica and back up. That is like way out of the way. Plus, you enter the Bermuda Triangle. We went to Jamaica, and they put us up in an all-expense paid resort for the night. And so for me, being an adult, of course, beverages, and they had a reggae band playing. And so with my son, and by this time it was getting late. And he was so excited. And he was just a little bit older, maybe 10, 11. And he said, Dad, he goes, is this all you can, eat and drink? I said, yeah. He goes, can I have all the Shirley Temples I can drink? And I laughed. I said, yeah. We ended up staying late. He got to hear his introduction to reggae music, which I really like. And the thing that he always will remember is the sign that said no swimming because the man o' war jellyfish were in and floating by. And those, having grown up in Florida, is not something you want to look at. But I'll just never forget that we got another country under our belt. And I'd already taken him to Mexico, rural Mexico. So he had only been 10 or 11. I put that spark in him, just as it was instilled in me going to Mexico as a missionary at the age of 15 for a summer, totally away from my parents. And from then on, when I saw how other people lived, other cultures, it was a great bug. And only thing I regret, though, was I was old enough. I was a rock hound at 15, and I was in Mexico. Colima volcano I could see. I should have done more rock hunting. So anyway, since we're a family, just thought I'd share a couple more family stories of my son and I, and going back. And, a lot of things will influence your children along the way. You just never know which one will catch on. For me, it was a family vacation as one of 6 to the Cowrie Valley in Macon County, outside Franklin, North Carolina, and going to one of those salted gem mines where they put the stuff in the bucket. And for whatever reason, I found a big piece of Indian reddish ruby, and it was probably like, I think, 60 carats or so at the time, and I thought I had $1 million ruby in my head. And, my parents always wanted to encourage hobbies, went back, and there was actually an old hippie in the back of a very high-end jewelry store, custom jewelry store on St. Armand's Circle on Lido Beach that actually taught stone cutting lessons. And the rest is history. So, it's these little things with your children, and even with adults, it's never too late. That may catch and just all of a sudden bring out a passion for something. I know a lot of rock hounds that didn't get the fever until not just as children, way later on. So that's why I'm always one to never be embarrassed about my passion for rocks and minerals. And you never know who else also has that passion, but may not, they've seen too many Charlie Brown movies where getting a rock was something bad. I'd take a rock over candy any day. I probably would still have some teeth, huh? All right, here we go. Miss Penny goes on to say, Shawn, thank you very much for the goodies. I can't believe I got the gold sheets. Yes, all of you who missed out on those historical 24 karat gold leaf sheets with the handwriting and the history of exactly when they were gotten. And I actually looked that up, and it's completely traceable, the history of when these gold sheets were given out. Well, we won't go into that part, but Miss Penny is really lucky, and she should be thrilled to have gotten those. I've had them for a long time, and it's good to know, Miss Penny, that you have them now, because I know that you will treasure them and the historic value in the own person's handwriting. to go with it. And provenance is worth so much more. Very often more than the actual article itself is the history to the article itself. Gold leaf you can get, well, actually on the internet, watch out. It'll actually say gold leaf, genuine gold leaf foil. It will say that. It won't be the kind of genuine gold leaf foil that we have in mind. Price usually is a giveaway. So to get gold leaf foil, genuine 24 karat gold leaf foil is available, possible, right? But getting gold leaf foil from 100+ years ago, used in a promotion, and you have the written history of it, that's a whole nother ball game. And it is because of that history and that provenance that makes that worth so much more than what regular gold leaf would cost. And as a matter of fact, I think I sold the gold leaf at pretty much what the market value on getting gold leaf. Now, not the actual weight of the gold itself. Well, I certainly wasn't going to take off each gold leaf and weigh it, so it's kind of hard to get the actual weight. But it is the kind of gold leaf that you can do applique on, and it's also neat to see, just because of the malleability of it, how thin it can be rolled out without sticking to the rollers or something, as opposed to aluminum foil or copper. It is crazy how thin they can get that material. So that's neat. Yeah, I can't believe you got those, and I'm glad you did, though. As for the fossilized clamshell, I hadn't seen it in such a long time. I had forgotten how amazing it was. That's what I'd been telling everybody. It's one of the largest clamshells from Fort Drum I've ever seen. And it is only one part of a myriad of other fossils from that same time period. And it was like $25, $30 or something. I don't know. I mean, you know, some of you are really missing out on some deals. And no more. I don't have any, you know. Just a little request from the shipping department. I understand they have to make the packaging child-proof, but must it be adult-proof as well? They really are an amazing department. A tiny piece broke off the clam fossilization, don't know where it came from on it, and they sent it to me. I'll add it to my crumb bag. Wishing everyone a wonderful week, and see you next week, Miss Penny. You know, I get compliments like that about shipping all the time, and they really do an amazing, amazing job. It's not like when we used to sell, and there was other shows that sold this type of items, you know, a decade ago, a long time ago. So they were a little bit more accustomed to packaging it. So it is only this show that they get any of the experience in packing it, but they have go-to people that know how to work with it. And better to overpack than to underpack when it comes to things. So think about the scolicites. But here's the other neat thing. I think it is very classy of them and naturally, like a scolicite crystal may break off, or a piece of a clamshell. And it wasn't of the clamshell, it's a multi-fossil piece that easily pieces could come off of. But I think it's really neat that they did send you the crumbs. And I actually just gave Dave, for his mom Pebbles, one of these fun bracelets for her to start attaching her crumbs to. And the Raven loves that everyone now is calling those pieces crumbs, as she so cutely coined it a long time ago around the house. You would not believe the number of little Thuya boxes we have, and also Orthoceros boxes. And I open them up, and they're full of crumbs. So that's what decades and decades of having little crumbs will get you. Okay, I have an amazing list. We're going to add those two names, Penny and Miss Cindy. You get in next week on the trivia. Oh wait, let's see. I did have I think I do remember one more here. Yes. So I'll just direct it. It was from Miss Jan. Okay, so Miss Jan, in reference to returning any items, yes, you can return them just as long as they're within the guidelines of Gem Shopping's return policies, which have changed a little bit. One of the things when I was talking to Christy about it this morning, she said, and she pulled up the file. So the last group of items that had been ordered at the same time, it looks like there were 5 of them. Those are the only ones that, by way of a date, are able to be returned. But with the policy of now having to pay for the shipping of returned items and the postage and insurance, whatever, she said, and due to the amount of money not being that great, you might want to consider keeping them. So, or maybe returning just the lighter weight items. I don't know. You'll have to work that out. But I do know that. But you sure it won't hurt his feelings if you return gifts? Here's what I found out about giving gifts of rocks and minerals or receiving them. Many people are really afraid to ever step out and do that for someone else because they think they're going to get something wrong. Now, you have to think, as a guy, once a guy is kind of, well, I'm just going to be blunt, because remember, I had 2 retail jewelry stores. I basically was like the bartender. I counseled guys and their, I don't know how many engagement rings are on people's hands that I have sold them or made them over decades of doing this. And so many girls would make the mistake of, even if it's something they kind of like but didn't totally, and telling the guy, well, I don't like it, or let's go take it back. Once that occurs, he'll never usually buy those items again or attempt to get the items. He may send you some flowers. Can't go wrong with flowers, right? But that is not as personal as buying something of your hobby, buying something that you are passionate about. And so for the amount of money, since it's not that great of an amount of money, just consider not maybe shooting down the chance of him ever going out on a limb and getting a specimen or mineral specimen. I'm sure he listens. And if you're watching the show and say, offhanded, oh, that's kind of neat, I kind of like that, he'll make a register. Now with these phones, they'll put it in the phone. It doesn't have to just be remembered now. And the thought, often, of course, is way more valuable than the gift. Even if you have 2 of them, maybe you already have one, but for a guy or a girl to go out and buy something that you're passionate about and have the courage to do that, that's not something you just want to take too lightly and shoot down. I only say that because, you know what? I've told this story. My dear mom, I remember for my 13th birthday, she went to Harris Rock Shop that I worked at, even at 13, and of course in 1974 is when this was. And I think our budget, she had 6 kids, for our birthdays, I think then was like $25. but that was still considerable. So she wanted to go buy an opal for me to cut because I had just finished taking my opal cutting lessons. I got done the agates, the special cabochones, asterism cutting and stuff like that. And she, I think, probably enjoyed picking it out just as much as I might have. But the fact that my mom took enough interest to get to look at these different opals, because each one was in a jar, the way they had them arranged then, and took it out and looking at them, and it's not like, of course she knew the owners well because I worked there, and they only gave her a little nominal guidance. They wanted her to kind of understand it and then pick out what she thought would work for me. When my mom gave that to me, I was so excited about the opal, but what was more exciting was the fact that she went through the effort and she chose the opal and she picked it out and took enough interest. Instead of going into a toy store and buying something in a box, I cut that opal and I have that opal. Yeah. It's probably the most valuable opal I have for $25. Yeah. So, just a thought on, think twice, because rock hounds and mineral collecting and all is a very narrow, passionate, very narrow hobby. But the people that are in it are very passionate. And if you can have a partner and they take any interest in it at all, that's not something you want to shoot down lightly. Now, that is just in my opinion, and you can discard. But after many years' experience and seeing guys make the wrong choice and coming back to me, or gals, and saying, wow, I should have taken your advice because he said he'll never buy me another piece of jewelry again, kind of thing, after they kind of like, So, all right. That's it. We're going to keep those two names put in for next week. And I am going to get ready for the next item and a whole bunch of cool stuff right behind it. Be right back. All right. Let's start off with something you haven't seen me show in a while. This is Dr. Congo. No. Democratic Republic of the Congo is what they call it now. And dioptase, being a copper silicate, of course you can understand where it gets its green. It's a hardness of 5. It is, you have to see the color to really appreciate the vibrancy of the green. Greens are always difficult to be able to capture on television, but you're never disappointed. Dioptase has a very consistent color range, and any of them are fantastic. Now, I have not done all my homework on this piece, but I can already see that it has some interesting aspects to it. It has a nice weight, and have you seen or read about how copper in general is really going up in value, as are other metals? Okay, so these other greens that you see here are going to be other copper-related minerals. And this is from the Tantara mine, which is extinct. I have a original bag on this from 2012. So it was old then when I obtained it. So it's going back a good ways. Now the Tantara mine, anytime a mine goes extinct, and it was open cut, so it was like following a vein, it makes material worth more for that reason. And so I can go and reference that mine and find what other minerals have been discovered at that mine that would fit one of these other color formations. And like you've seen, it doesn't take a whole lot to be a completely separate mineral, and it looked nothing like dioptase, and it can be just a fine coating of it. Now, this is really unusual, because usually you'll get your dioptase crystals that are small. These are actually some large crystals. And look at them. Once you spot them and can see exactly what you're looking at, then you can really appreciate, hold on here, some of the other features to it, and that would be clarity. Clarity to this. And I noticed as we looked at this, let me show you, that, I mean, there we go. Look on the edge of that. All the material I've seen of dioptase, I really have not seen that many faceted dioptase, which is kind of surprising. It's hard enough, a hardness of 5. Now let me see. Let me go right over here. And there was, I thought, underneath in one of these little pockets, it looked like I saw another crystal, but maybe it's hiding out, waiting for someone else to discover it. There's really some neat formations in this, and it's not like the Alton tubes dioptase crystals. These, I don't know exactly how to describe them, but it almost looks like hollowed out areas like rhyolite would be or something. Maybe it formed around something like that. But that is what adds to this piece, is the unique concave formations to it. And then you have, of course, another mineral on it, so it's not like it's man-made, because you have these other depositions of colors. I'm looking on here because I thought I saw a clear crystal, but maybe not. Or maybe it was, well, I'll leave it to one of all of you to have fun with, because this, if you don't have dioptase in your collection, you need it. It's one of those really striking minerals that you get a lot of bang for the buck. And I have this, actually, let me see. I have my old label on it, and my label dates it to that time period. So what I did was I obviously said, you know, I'm going to keep that for myself, and there you go. 10 years later, here it is, and offering it for sale. And that's exactly what happens. If something doesn't sell, it's no loss to us, because we just as soon have it back on the shelf at home displayed, or on that 1-inch ledge in the kitchen. Price on this, only $58. Dioptase is very expensive. Something this large, let me show it to you in my hand. It's got a fantastic weight. Look at that. And large crystals. So an excellent opportunity and an amazing addition to someone's collection. Now, this next item I have decided to sell. It is something you've maybe seen before. I called it my lesson stone. This is item number 1153024, my lesson stone. And I used it several times and never decided to sell it. Well, you know, just never know when you wait long enough, and if you want something, and sometimes it comes around and you end up getting a chance to buy it. This is an education in one stone for a couple of reasons. Let me show you. Let's look at this from the side. This is a sapphire. The color in this sapphire, it has been cut to where, I have to admit, the cutter did an amazing job. This stone had a primary blue place in it. And by centering it right at the cullet, it's upside down right now. And you can see, let's look at it from the side, you see how off-center it is? It's an oval, but you can see both directions it's off-center. And that's a native cut. That tells you right there that it was artisanally cut. In other words, where it was mined, it was cut probably by a local family close by and was not recut for any improvement, because it would have been difficult to improve upon it. Because let me show you, by centering that one spot of blue in this stone and doing it correctly will give you this look. Boom! I kid you not. Now that color in a sapphire is one of the most valuable colors. That is that really attractive blue. You know what? Remember how everyone used to think that the dark, inky, black sapphires used to be the valuable ones? I mean, a lot of people were sold a song and dance because jewelers didn't have anything better to offer. So they sold what they had and they made what they had out to be something wonderful. No. If you want a blue sapphire, the whole idea is to see blue. Now, when it's different shades of blue make a big difference. And when you get a vibrant color blue like this one, look how similar it is to Gem Shopping's logo you see in the corner. Yep, exactly. Can you imagine that one little spot in the cullet is able to vibrate that color? In other words, reflect and bounce around the light in that stone to make the entire sapphire blue. Let's go back. Look. That's it. There's no other blue but centered right there. That's a great cutting job. Now, even if it is off-center in every direction possible, now there's something else on this that I want to see if, isn't that amazing? Okay, now there's an inclusion in it, but there's something to, let me set that right there for a moment, because there's another lesson in this stone, and I want to see just how close we can get to showing it to you. It is how to spot a heat-treated sapphire if it has the right tails, in other words, the right kind of inclusion. So when sapphires are heat treated, look at that, straight from below, looking up. When sapphires are heat treated, and if there's any little inclusions in them, what happens is, depending on whether they're low, medium, or high temperature heat used, it will usually explode the crystal. And by that I mean will partially melt the crystal, and different variances depending on what it is. Sapphire is known to have over 50 other different minerals have been found in sapphires as inclusions. So depending on exactly what it is, depending on what that crystal does when it is heated, the majority, what you're going to get is, and let's see if we can find it here. And yeah, Dave do his magic. A halo around the inclusion. Now I'm using 35 magnification here, and there is several in this. So It's just a matter of me being able to find one that, look at that color. Isn't that amazing? And you can eat, this is 35 power plus Dave's magnification. So the inclusion in this isn't all that bad, not for the look that you get. There we go, Dave. I knew that's the one I was looking for. So let me move this into the light then and bring a little more light on this. Look at that. And then let me turn this over to the clear portion. Here we go. Because all you need to do is see it once, and the lesson is done. And even if not, you'll understand it when you get to looking at one and then see it. Yeah. Hold on one more second. Let me take it from the other side. And let me see. They're, even just with a 10 power loop, they're easy to see. But you have to find one that wants to be seen. And what you'll find is a little, see, there's one right there see that little shiny spot? I'm putting it right over it right there now. Now I'm moving it away. That's one right there. That reflected light at the end of the table. If I had a third hand, I could point it out. But there, I'm circling it. It's right there. I'm going around it. That's one of them. And what that is an exploded mineral in it when the stone was heat treated. There's like 3 or 4 of them in this. And if you get this, look at it with a 10 power loop, and it looks like a halo around a little tiny or a piece of foreign mineral in the middle, or what's ever left of it. And then instantly you'll know what to look for. So I really need to take a picture of one of those situations and show you on this. But that's all what it's about learning for yourself. So with that information I just gave you, it won't take 10 seconds of you looking at it with a 10 power loop, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. So it's the halos can be a little bit skewed, they can be partial, but pretty much all the time you still see part of the original mineral that and I use the word exploded loosely, but that banded out as the temperature came up and started to melt into the sapphire, and it creates these halo type of looks. This is an amazing piece, and I often thought, wow, you know, it would be a shame to actually set this straight up. It's almost more attractive like that, providing you could show exactly how much influence the placement of color makes in a gemstone. So imagine if this becomes bezel set, right? There is no way anyone is going to ever know that what is creating the color in this is only a little spot of blue in the culet. And that's why, you know, sometimes you can hide a whole lot by way of how something is mounted or set. This is a real jewel. I don't have another one like it, and I don't really know why I'm partnering with it now, except for the fact that I didn't get my 2 front teeth for Christmas. Look at that gem. Look at that. That, by way, okay, also, let me tell you this. By way of that little bit of haze you see to it is very reminiscent of what a untreated cashmere sapphire can look like. It can also look like that color range as well. Unfortunately, it's not. It is a Ceylon stone and a real keeper. So I have this. This is one that if it comes back to me or doesn't sell, that is just fine for me. I actually have it in the description as lesson stone and for cutting and heat treatment. So yeah, all right. I'm offering that at a really good value. That is a carat 85. And oh yeah, that's what I did. Yeah. Carat 85, and price on this one is only $148. I think that comes out to $80 a carat, roughly. Only $148. And if you had to go buy one of these and you sought one of these out to use it for a lesson stone, let's say, there's no way you would ever find one. I came across this one so long ago, and I thought, wow, this teaches everybody everything they need to know about the importance of placement of color when cutting a gemstone. You put that little blob of blue anywhere else, and it's going to look like a blob of blue. You put it in the culet, you properly cut around it, and boom. You have something really, really exciting that as a cutter, that does everything for me. Now, tell you what, I'll show a couple more things before I break to show setup and on something else. So let me show you this next item. It is 115-2824. And this, well, for you skull collectors, check this out. Now, look at that. That is, you know, nephrite, jade, or jade in general, nephrite or jadeite, is a very fibrous, dense stone that you can drop, and it'll often, you know, stay together, won't chip, won't break. That's why you can, they made axes out of the material and all kinds of things back in the Neolithic days. It was actually treasured and revered for many, many reasons. Look at this. Many times it also has other minerals in it, as you can see, everything from chlorite to often a silica content, which gives it additional binding and strength. And this, you see, when you see those two openings in the bottom, in other words, that is carved much more realistically. And I've seen all kinds of people put neat things in the eyes on these. You have, the nose is cartilage, so you actually, that's carved correctly away. As you can see, your nasal passages right there for those of you with sinuses. And what a set of teeth. I'm a little jealous. Maybe I should just take one out of him. So, oh, I think that's the wrong item number there. So let me see if item 115-4224. Oh, giving away what's going to be coming up. Next time I'll look at that first. Sorry about that. Awesome. I get too excited about the product before looking at the graphic. All right, price on this guy. How about this? It's only one I have, and it is nephrite jade. And here it is one of the bigger ones, 2-inch size. Look at that. So, and decent color. Price only $44. $44 on that guy. Now, let me show you. I have not offered one of these, one of the Pakistani 4 in a long time. Let's look at item 115-4024. The Pakistani 4 as named by Miss Barbara. Those were the 4 primary lots or batches of mineral specimens that I had gotten from Pakistan, and they were the pink apatite. Dave, do you know where the round center black felt thing, so I could put it in the middle of that, is, by chance?
You're on record.
I know. Okay.
It's under that, ain't it? It's under it. Under the table.
Under this?
We'll be right back.
Yeah, okay. I've got to set up on this next item, so let me take a break and I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to go to Pakistan in a minute, but before that, I thought to keep in with the theme of a skull, I would show you an incredible Brazilian iris quartz one. This one is the same size, and you know, I like quartz with inclusions, because if not, it could just look like a piece of glass. So when you have inclusions and then you get reflections. And when you get reflections, you get irises. And when you get irises, you have quartz that looks like it has opal in it, which of course opal is a silica. Now, just to show you the difference between like that other one, and why I pointed it out about the 2 holes in the bottom of it. The jade piece was a much more real-life looking skull than the quartz. Because of jade, you can do really fine, minute details without it splintering or breaking or anything like that. Not quite the same with quartz. Quartz can shatter, chip, and break. Now, let's look into his brain and see if we don't see something that is not in our own, and that is the reflection of rainbows and colors. Look at, there we go. There it starts right there. Look at that. Now, that is coming from deeper within. It is radiant. Look at that. Look at it's almost, you know what? It's intensifying. Now, I would normally, that is truly, look at that rainbow. That is an entire, the whole spectrum of the rainbow colors. I knew it was in there, but that's not even the one I was looking for. Wow, that's kind of really neat though. Back here, I saw one having to do with this. And that's the neat thing about irises and quartz. Just like androdite rainbow garnets, the test takes the right angle. Look, there is some colors appearing there. And it is when you hit that certain spot, you really get to see the amazing, amazing rainbows that can really come out of these places. And that's what makes them fun just to behold. There we go. See, there's one, I want to say one forming, but in other words, me just turning it the right way to capture the color. There's an outstanding one in here. Just haven't found it yet. But we can leave that for you to discover. Remember, quartz is piezoelectric. That means if you press on it, it develops an electrical charge. That's kind of neat, and it is true because I have tested and done so. And all right, so this one, you can add to the jade one if you want to set up kind of a neat offsetting look. And I have it well priced, especially for the iris factor to it, which again, you know, they can also be in hydros in these. You got to really move them around to find them sometimes because it's just a little water bubble that moves back and forth. But it's really neat when you find one undiscovered by anybody else. And there's always that potential. Anyway, this guy, it's only $38. Only $38. Now we're going to go back to the Pakistani 4 discussion. And we're going to start off with one of them, which is item number 1154024. So the Pakistani 4 was 4 different minerals that I had bought groups of. And they were the incredible red zircons, the pink apatites, the triplites, and this one, which I have not offered one in a long time. It is a sphene. Look at that. Look at that. And some of the sphenes are just world class that have come out of the Gilgit area, out of the Haramosh Mountains. Just not just one deposit, but there's been several, but they're very high altitude deposits. This particular one and they each have kind of a different grouping or set of minerals that can be found with them. Now, one of the ways to discover some of the minerals that may be with your particular sphene specimen is to go in the closet. Oh yeah, you know me in that closet, with a fluorescent light. And what fluoresces most likely in this case will be calcite, and it will fluoresce in orange. Now, you can also find some feldspars under shortwave light that may fluoresce a reddish color. Let me get my pointer here. But your target mineral are these. Look at that. The sphene crystals, and look at all of them. So all these little green items are sphene crystals, and you can see they're kind of tucked right along this little ledge. Now, here are your calcites. And if, let me see if this, let me just turn this off for a minute. And so, yeah, this is one. I was just seeing if it shows up here. No, it still does not show that. We're going to keep trying, though. Oh, that's a great shot right there. Wow. Actually, keep that shot. That shows it. The relief way better. Look at, you can see deeper back into there. Wow, that is some beautiful lighting right there. Here's a layer of calcites. These will be orange in fluorescent light, so really cool. This is all chlorite, so the greenish colors are chlorite. Now, you may see chlorite and clinochlor. They can be used interchangeably. Clinochlor can have a kind of a bigger look than chlorite, but clinochlor is a chlorite, and sometimes it's more of a chlorite group. So you can generalize and use chlorite, and in this case, that's what I'm doing. I have another specimen that is more properly deemed clinochlor, and I'll show you that in a moment because I have another one. So you can see the different color of sphene you have, and they're known to be twinned. Twinned crystals are often found there too. So this is a really nice large one. Look at this yellow tinted one. Now over here on the end, that is a calcite crystal right there. Let's look on top. Wow, look at all this. Okay, you can see that you have a lot of other calcite crystals. You just may not recognize them as such because they're covered over with chlorite. You can see more calcites here. And here you go. There may be feldspars occasionally mixed in as well. And look at that. There's another sphene. And I tell you what, that is when you get out the light, the magnification, and you just start having the time of day by exploring all around the specimen. You can see multiple calcite crystals. Oh, there we go. And you can see how they're covered over in this greenish chlorite. Stunning. And these are I got, I guess, over 10 years ago. And there is less and less and less to be found each year. Wow, look at all these little crystals tucked back in there. What an amazing, amazing specimen. I have an opportunity on this jewel that you won't believe. And it's one of those situations that I am not even going to consider making it any less than, because for the, look at the size of this. Yeah, that's a, you know, a small cabinet specimen. Really stands out well. And the price, only $88. Yeah, so when it's only $88, nowhere to go. Certainly not down. Now, I have only one more Sphinx opportunity, but the focus on this particular piece, which is, let me make sure I read that number right. It is 1153924. And yeah, the magic behind this piece is not the Sphinx. It is this incredible calcite crystal. And then it's not just the calcite, it is the fact that it is amazingly beautiful orange. Fluoresces orange. So those of you that collect fluorescent minerals like I do and love to look at them in the closet or wherever you may be, or have a fluorescent display set up, you will not be disappointed. Look at this. Now, in my mind, I think sometimes I see a light pink, which would mean manganoan, and that would certainly help explain the reason why it would be fluorescent. But this also has, look at this, Sphinx crystals and clinochlor. Now, also mica. It has mica in the form of little rosettes. And I'll show you those in a moment as we come around the other side of it. And as we come away from it just a bit so you can see the tops, look at that. Look at how well formed that calcite crystal is. And now as we look closer at these little clinochlor formations, you'll be able to see them better as we go in closer. And you can see that the calcite has grown around some of them, which is always aesthetically attractive. And then there is also muscovite. Some muscovite that form little rosettes. In other words, under magnification, little flower type of growth. Now, you see the difference in the colors here. That's why I think it almost, I don't know. I see a faint pink sometimes, but maybe it's wishful thinking. Either way, it doesn't matter. It fluoresces an amazing, amazing orange, strong orange, and really pretty. There's a couple of different habits or forms of calcite, as you can see also. So here is, you can see some of the mica right here in these little platelet groups surrounding the sphene. It has a sphene, but the really primary attraction to me is the calcite and the way the calcite is formed around the chlorite and mica. So for a display angle, I don't know, I think I'd be showing off maybe something like that. You get a little sphene in there, you get a little calcite. This is large, the crystal not damaged. It is a really fine specimen, and I'm offering it for the same price as the other one, $88. Only $88 on that. So that is a big look. Look at that in my hand. That is a really big look. And again, for a fluorescent mineral collector, that is choice. Now, why I have this particular light set up just the way it is, I just want to show you one of the future items. This item's not for sale yet. I have several I'm going to be offering, but this is just something I want to show you. I want to see if anyone can figure out what the mineral is. So this is a little bit of not a trivia question right now. It's just something I want to show you that is one of the rare, unusual minerals that are found in quartz. And let me show you this. Look at that. So this is just a little educational moment. I'm going to be offering some of these for sale next week. They have been drilled, some of them have been drilled, which makes it real easy to just attach a pendant to, a ring to it, and you have this incredibly rare mineral in quartz. Now, let me see if I can do this with one hand. Okay, so let me just give you a little closer look at it for just a moment and turn it this way. Let me see. Oh, yeah, that's my fault. And these have a radial growth formation to them. In other words, from the center out. And they're blue and green. And let's turn it over. And let me even that up. Look at this. Look at this. Now, in your comments this week, for those of you that want to do a little homework, that's the shot there, Dave. Thank you. That's the one I was looking for. Now you can see the radial growth, if I could hold my hand steady enough at this level. But now, yeah, let me move this to focus. You get to see a little bit better, especially that one right at the top in the middle. There we go. As I turn it, you can see the light reflecting off the radial pattern. And wow, isn't that cool? Look at that. That's something you haven't seen most likely, but you may have heard of the mineral. Now, let me see here. Well, I have some others, but you know what? I'm not going to show them to you right now. That gives you a good idea about that one particular one. Now, let me put away a couple of items because I need to set up on this next beauty. Be right back. All right, check this out. Oh, yeah. Okay. A lot of people think Cupid is this wonderfully sweet little winged thing that goes and shoots arrows of love. That could not be further than the truth. In Roman mythology, Cupid was an evil little dastardly person that was the son of Venus. And he was Psyche, who was this person that competed with Venus's looks. Well, Venus didn't want anyone competing. So he told Cupid to shoot Psyche, but instead he pricked himself with his own arrow and fell in love. Forever binding them together and against his mother's wishes. A lot of, people get these misimpressions through, TV or cartoons or Disney or things like that couldn't be further than the truth. And as a matter of fact, if you look closely, look at the little horns. Oh yeah, they kind of made it look like hair from one angle, but no. This is the real Cupid. This is the little demonic Cupid. And this is one fine piece of Australian opal that is in amazingly, free of inclusions that often come with carving quality opals. And it's really quite clean and has fire plays of color from blues and greens, yellows, and let me see, I saw some others. Let me just try something here for a moment. Set that down, and I want to see just another wavelength of light through. Yeah, look at those big, broad. See, on this angle, you have that huge, broad swath of blue. And that's the thing with opal. And you can see it as I rotate it this way. You see that broad swath of blue coming across it. And that is what makes opal so awesomely special. My son's birthstone, my mother's birthstone, and my favorite stone of all. Look at how large this is. This is a large carving, 55 carats. I came across one of these, and that was the only one. I mean, the real Cupid, the devilish Cupid, and I've kept it ever since. That's why it's estate. It's estate prior to when I got it, and I got it at least 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Have had it ever since. It's one of those, I'm going to go out and I'm going to find an opal carving of the mean Cupid. Not going to happen. This guy travels in his own little box where he gets to lay down and rest as he does his evil work of shooting poisonous arrows. None of this little arrows of love on Valentine's Day. Read up the real history of Cupid and Psyche, spelled just like Psyche, P-S-Y-C-H-E. And you're going to learn a whole lot more about this little guy. I am going to offer this special, very special Cupid at an opportunity that, again, it's one of those that if it goes back in the collection for another 10 years, it would be okay, because it's not something I am going to find another one of.
Can you pick it up and put it straight?
Oh,
How much?
Yep, I was getting to that. The price on this, Cupid is already up to his tricks. Let me just move him right there for a moment. Here, let me change him here. I had some nice blue paper, only $178. Nice blue paper wrapped around them, so you know what? I should probably go put them back in that nice blue paper once again. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, something else I haven't showcased before, and wow, you know, it all started by me looking in this other part of our office at home and came across this nondescript box, and it was like I had, oh, I don't know, I was so thrilled. It's like, oh, I remember these, I remember this, finding stuff all over again, except I'm finding them from prices 10, 20, 30 years ago. And that's how I am pricing them from. I mean, that Cupid, let's see, it was 55 carats, $178, whatever, you know, what, $3 a carat, a little over $3 a carat for opal like that, and a really cool themed piece. To get, and I've been out to Lightning Ridge, and I know what it takes to mine and produce a piece of opal that clean that would carve a piece that large. Yeah. You have to have a lucky day to even find something like that. These are unstrung. So this is for the home ladies, the home bead stringers, and any of you who want to create something yourself. This is 16 inches long, unstrung. They are, look at this, look at how large those are, and look at how beautiful that color is. This is from the famous kyanite mines, including like the Cornell Murta mine, produces some beautiful kyanite along with some other incredible great stuff. And some of these will have cat's eyes. I have, they're just on fishing string right now and just loosely tied off just so they stay together. You could actually keep them on this fishing wire, and all you have to do is attach a clasp to it. Now, it makes it really easy, and I suggest using fishing line for this kind of necklace and or additional beads you may want to add. You can come up with any design you want. You could get, you know, any kind of silver beads you can add in, gold beads, other different gemstones, and just have the best time creating your own design in a piece of jewelry. Look at how beautiful those are. With the advent of all the synthetic diamond in the market, that's what I was telling Raven. It has allowed the little artisanal family who may have been able only to create, you know, a couple few strands a week or whatever it was using silicon carbide. Now, since diamond is so inexpensive because of all the lab grown and how you know, chemical vapor deposition, you know, where they can just make these micro diamonds and scrape them off these sheets, you know, hourly just about for industrial purposes. And it's brought the price down. And remember, diamond, once you use it and polish with it, tumble with it, it's reusable. It's the hardest thing there is. So whatever grit diamond you're using to polish, the most it's going to do is break down to a finer mesh. So it is recyclable, because what you're going to do is just get broken down of whatever the material is. So let's say kyanite dust. And with that, you have your diamond compounder or diamond grit mixed in with it, right? So if you're just doing kyanites, you use the same slurry over and over. And you can really stretch it out because diamond is so many times harder. Yeah, kyanite may be a hardness of 5 to 7, but in reality, it's multiple times harder. So it goes a long way, which has brought the price of beads skyrocketing downwards. Beads were always a labor-intensive product where a lot of the money in the cost of them came from the creation of them, not from the product themselves. Well, that's turned around now. Now you're getting a better value for the product because you're not having to pay so much for the labor to create that product. That's one area that I can say that creating synthetic diamonds at the level that they can create them and the quantity that they can create them now has benefited groups or certain parts of our industry. And it's the little artisanal family miner or bead makers, the cutters, the people that it really makes the difference. It really save the most money by that process. Now, I'm not going to even go into talking about the large, how big do you want it, creation of synthetic diamonds, because it's just getting bigger and bigger. So the biggest one that they made that has been faceted, last I heard, was 37 carats. So that usually takes something twice the size. So they created a 75 carat, almost perfect diamond. There's going to be no limit to it. The only limit is going to be time and how much energy, which is a massive amount of energy it takes to run these furnaces under the temperatures and pressures that they have to run them. So it's not very green, but neither is digging them out of the earth. But being, of course, the purist I am, give me something natural any day. How about this strand? Beautiful, beautiful kyanite for only $48. Only $48. Did I get that right? I hope. I did. I did. Now, let me show you. I have another bead offering. This is item number 1154524. And again, these are just unstrung, just temporarily on some string. And you know what? They're not going to fit this neck. So I am just going to hand hold these for a moment, because that's all it's going to really take for you to be able to see that this is, look at that. Look at that. These are faceted. And when you start seeing purples and the blues, purple of course being the most valuable color in labradorite, and it forms lamellarly, the colors. So you're not going to see, it's not like an opal where you see color all the way around. If you see purple on one side, you're usually going to see color, there it is, directly opposite it. And so when these rotate like this, look at those colors that you get. Look at that. That is what is so beautiful about labradorite and the shape of these particular beads. I remember picking these out, and it was well over a decade ago. And the whole idea was to make some necklaces, but never got that far in one of those round tuits on this. And so you can see that these were some real jewels, and that they were not, look at the purple, cherry picked the purples out of them, and they are all, their base background tone very even in color. In other words, some aren't like darker black and lighter grays. And I could just keep spinning them and going around, and you can see that every one of these is really gemmy. Really gemmy. So there's I actually counted these because it was easier than the kyanites. There's 29 of them, 16 inches unstrung, and they are easy to string them on fishing line or heavier kind of cord or whatever you may want to do, and end up with whatever length you want to make it. And look at that. I like that size to them. It's a size that will be noticed on you, and all the different colors that go with it. Now, opportunity on this guy, it was $48 on the kyanite and only $58 on these. Only $58 on these. Take advantage of them. I have another strand, but I set them aside for Raven, but we'll see. We'll see if she winds up with them or not. All right, let me put these up safely and I'll be right back. What I'm getting ready to show you is not that it's so unusual by what it is so unusual by where it is from. Now, if you're thinking, well, that's just kind of ho-hum, yeah, wait till I spin it around. Look at that. Look at that. If you're familiar with the Riemvasmak Northern Cape fluorites, they are known to be wonderful octahedrals, and they are known to have this bright, vibrant green. And Davis picked this color up exactly the way my eye is seeing it. Just that vibrant green. And you can see how it has a layer, and this is the other thing that they're known for, is fine druzy quartz. Druzy quartz on or around at the base. Now, this is a small specimen compared to some of the amazing, amazing ones that have been found, but it also is affordable that way. And you can see that it's really some facet grade material, maybe, you know, small stones in this, but of course it's not something that you want to cut up. If you collect fluorite, you need this locality because it's a difficult one to get. And here's the other thing, it fluoresces amazingly. It's like this purple blue fluorescence, really, really quite striking. And I was just wondering if this, you know how I always like things to sit up on their own if they can, and you just never know if they do until you try, but it won't. So I'm just going to let it rest like there, because even the shadows, I always think of Alfred Hitchcock, the way he was able to use shadows in his movies and develop such intense aesthetics because of it. Well, same thing with that dark background. Anyway, that's a great shot right there. I mean, that looks like a magazine cover overall for a small specimen. How about this? Here is a price that is a opportunity. I don't have another one. Not going to have another one either. $28. $28. Yep, something for everybody. Let's look at item 115-3524. How about something that Shawn mined? And I mined these a long time ago. But they're still available if the mine is open. It's out past the Macon County Airport in Franklin, a mine called the Mason Mountain Mine. And be prepared to get money, because I tell you what, it's one of the last of the mines that you could actually go, and you go in a field and you literally dig up buckets of mud. There's no salting going on. No one went in this 1 acre field and scattered a bunch of crystals out there. It's the real deal. These are a wonderful pinkish purple, well known for their well crystallized hexagonal barrel shapes. And out of all the ones that I've found, I really haven't found any that starred, which is kind of, I think, unusual. Not that none exist, but I think that that's something that you just don't, it doesn't lend itself to as much. So here is one of the last neat batches for not only specimens, but also they're great to mount in something as an accent crystal if you're wire wrapping. And speaking of wire wrapping, by the way, Miss Gabby, I tell you what, if I hadn't been ill myself, I would have thought that Andrew, our wire wrapper, was giving me a story. I've been trying to keep up with him. He has been ill over the holidays with some of this same cold and flu that has been going around down here. So he was going to send me a picture, but he said no. He wanted to get it done correctly and not send the picture ahead of time. So I am anxious to see what the finished product looks like. So that's the update on it. He said he was going to try to have it done in the next week. All right, these, how about the whole batch of these? Mined by my own sweat and mud. And I have these for only $21 for the whole batch. $21 for the whole batch, which is kind of crazy because I probably, you got to pay money to go out there and, of course I found some others, the big ones. These are just some of the smaller ones. But if you want to find sapphires, that is a fantastic place to have a lot of fun. Don't go on a hot summer day. The moisture, the humidity, even though you're in the mountains, doesn't make a difference. Item number 115-3124. Now, let's see what this, oh yes. Okay, here we go. All right, let me just set this down. I'll hold it up in just a moment's time. Let me put these away. Okay, what I have are two opportunities. This one, aquamarine, that has not natural color. Natural color, Brazilian aquamarine. If I put this guy in the oven, well, let me show you what it's going to, the end result would be. Now, oh, not that one. Okay. Here is really, if the same person got both of them, it would kind of be a neat way as an educational type of opportunity as well. Okay, price on this one, $48. Sterling silver, approximately 20 carats, natural color. So we're going to just set this one off to the side right there for the moment. And let's now look at item number 115-3224. And now, I can't say for certain. Let me make sure I get, let's see, 3224, yeah. But I would have to assume that this has been heat treated. This is another aquamarine. Look at that. So, this one actually you're seeing some chatoyant, see a little bit of a cat's eye chatoyant effect on it. And sterling silver, aquamarine, you have natural color, and you have, and that's what I told Raven. I said, hey, I can make this one look like that one. And she said, don't you dare. She's a purist also. She loves the green of aquamarine. It's her birthstone, so she knows a lot about aqua, and she much prefers the green tint in them. This one does, I definitely have a little bit of a cat's eye effect. Same price for either one, $48 each. They're both about the same weight. $48, your choice on these. And really, if you got them both, that'd be kind of, especially if you're a birthstone or wanted to celebrate aqua, that'd be great. You know, if you had the stone to make a custom bezel like that, would far exceed $48. The time it takes to do that, and you know, these are custom-made bezels to the stone, so $48 I think is a really good value. I like the fact that you have the kind of heat-treated and non-heat-treated. You get to see the difference in them. Now, let me show you. I think this is cool and quite historic if you know anything about the Civil War. Let me show you item number 115-2924. And This is the one that I have kept all this time and considered it my own personal one, but I thought, well, I am going to share this. This is the real deal, folks. The Civil War in the United States. This is a 58 caliber, in other words, 0.58 of an inch. So a 50 caliber is 0.50, meaning half an inch in diameter. This was called the Minet ball. A lot of people would say mini ball. It is a French word. This is from a designer of the bullet who came up with this bullet. Now, the difference between the Confederate mini ball or the Union mini ball was the number of rings that were on them. And the Union mini ball had 3. So there's 1, 2, and there's 1 inside here. The Confederate only had 2 rings. What they did, what these rings did, and there's going to be a little bit of a hollowed out area. When the gunpowder went off, it would cause the very soft lead to expand, especially with these rings, thereby engaging the rifling. In other words, in a barrel, there's it's called rifling, and it allows the bullet to spin, thus greatly improving trajectory, accuracy, etc. These, now, people that find these are as secretive as someone finding a gem deposit. They're not going to tell you exactly where. They'll tell you the state. So these are from Virginia. Virginia, many, many battles in Virginia. The other thing is, this has been a bullet that has been fired. The other thing is the white. The white on the lead bullets normally start just looking like the color of lead, a grayish material. Over time, it develops an oxidation that is not, it becomes part of the bullet. It's not like it can just be polished off with a silver cloth. And that is a telltale sign that it has been in the ground in a very, very long time. One of the ways to tell they're fired, okay, this has been wrapped around the bullet. You see how that is not exactly round? It is from the compression of the gunpowder, expanding the bullet, engaging the threading, and it will leave the backside not as round as it started. The other way you can tell is by the nicks on the bullet. Now, this did not hit a barn door. It didn't hit anything solid, because you would get a larger impact mark on it. But you have multiple areas, like where it would have skipped along the ground. You can see on the nose where that probably is part of what occurred there. Or bounced against going through trees, twigs. You can see these unusual places on there. A fired bullet is more valuable than an unfired bullet. And this was just an exceptional one. And I tell you what, holding it, I just feel an energy in it that, you know, in this case, a good energy. It was a Union bullet, a Yankee bullet, let's just say. This is Anna King, my one and only favorite silver designer I always use for many years. It is hallmarked on the inside of the bail with her logo of a crown for Anna King and marked sterling silver. If you know someone that collects guns, or I used to make my own bullets, actually. Didn't die cast the lead bullets, but I have an idea I want to do, and that's to make silver bullets. Yeah, I could sell a lot of those. And you can only imagine why. Myth and lore. But so to have something from that time period is I don't know. There's so much to be said, especially in our times we're in now. That was a horrific war. That bullet, carrying good, bad, and the ugly with it, but makes a wonderful, wonderful gift to those that collect those things, to collect those that hunt. And it's a very masculine gift also, if you ever wonder what to get a guy. Well, and especially if he likes or shoots guns at all, you can't go wrong with something like that. I have this at a ridiculous opportunity because you're buying a piece of history. And there's very few of these, and guess what? There's very few places that you can actually hunt for them because of the federal properties being involved with so many of the battlefield sites. And federal property, they will take your gun, your car, your anything and everything. That is one place you never want to go metal detecting. Opportunity on this piece, I have a fantastic chance on something as unique and historic as this is, and I'm offering it for only, I had to make it two auspicious numbers, $78. Only $78 for that guy, and that's a neat piece. Let me show you. Item 115-3324. Look at this next jewel. Oh my. This was, again, one of our personal pieces. And when it comes to, look at that. Boom. What beautiful, beautiful tangerine quartz. Look at the clarity to this crystal. And the aesthetics to it. It's one of the most attractive ones I have seen. And I have a really excellent value on this guy for you because nice pieces, aesthetic like that, there's just not too many of them around at all. And so only $58 on that. Only $58 on that guy. Now, let me show you. I want to show you this next item, and then I want to tease you with a couple things coming up. This next item is never been shown before, but going to be one of the best values on a zeolite you've ever seen. 115-3724. And I don't want to scratch anything with it. Let me just move this for a moment. And let me fold this over. Scoot this to the side. Look at this. Look at this zeolite. This is a stunning. Look at this piece. Full of stilbite and apopholites. Now, this is from the Malad Quarry, which has long since been closed since the 90s. And as we go in closer on this, you can see it is, oh, that's a great shot. Yeah, that's exactly what I needed to show off the contrast between the apopholites, the white apopholites, and the cream stilbites. Look at this. Look at how many of them. Look at those sprays. This is just coming around the outside of this piece. You saw how large it is, and then look at this. Look, it is striking in the balance of the apopholites against the stilbites. And this is one of those ones when you get it, again, you look for hours. You look at it for hours. You delve into every little crooked cranny, and you realize everything that had to take place. Look at that little crystal up there to bring you this look. Now on the back side, you have your basalt. I think I saw a little green selenite right there. Now, look at that. Look at the size of this. I have this super specially priced. Ready? There's never going to be one this big of a look I can offer or would offer. Yeah. So with my time running out, $248. $248. It has to be seen to be believed. Look at these. Look at the radial nature of them coming out of the center. And the clarity. Look at the clarity of all these apopholites. That piece is outstanding. Let me show you. Here is another really fun item. Item number 115-2824. Hate to take this one away for this one. Well, I tell you what, we'll leave it in the backdrop there because it makes beautiful, beautiful see. Look at this. How about a peekaboo geode? This is one of those sugar quartz geodes. Now, I am not sure if it has been fully broken, but when they are, you can often puzzle piece them back together to where they stay pretty locked in. So I haven't had the nerve to try to pry open on this. I feel a little movement, but I thought I'd just leave it like this and let you open it up if you want, or leave it like that. Look at how hollow that is. What a fun item or a great piece to donate to a school, because when they're not cut open yet you can still see inside of them. That tells the whole story. Without it having to be sawed open, you get to see the outside, the inside, and that, for that reason, I think makes it really, really special. $24 on that. Only $24 on that. Yeah, really special for $24. And again, to get them like that, I just haven't had any that were just partials like that. Now, I'm running out of time, but let me get one more item in here. And I tell you that, oh, that's what I wanted to do. Hold on. Here we go. Let's just go through real quick. Here is the teasers. Here are some of the items that are going to be coming up next week. Let me show you this. This is world-class Burmese rutilated quartz with vermicular hematite. Look at this. We'll just go through a couple of these, Dave, real quick. Look at this. Just come in close on it and we'll tease and go. Look at that. That is a stunning, stunning piece. Let me show you what else in this new fun deposit. Deposit feels like it. Look at this. Here is, look at that. Look at that. Manifestation quartz. In other words, crystals of quartz. Look at that, floating within quartz. When's the last time you've seen something like that? Yeah, exactly. Let me show you. Look at this one. This one is crazy. Look at that. We'll talk more about that one next week. Next, here is a quality that, Dave, you're going to, look at this. Look at this. Yep, this is what you've heard, you just may not have seen. Star rutile around hematite. Crazy. Let me show you even something even more rare. Let's look at, yeah, fossilized amber with huge insects in them. Dave, if you could just take us in with your magic camera right there and be able to show everybody. We'll start right back here. You can see right there is a big fly. Ah, excellent, Dave. Let me see here. There we go. And right there, look at that. Look at that. So we'll look at it from that side and wow. And then flip it over This is Baltic amber. This isn't the Dominican Republic amber. We'll get closer in on that one next week. Let me show you one more here. Look at this. Look at the quality. This is some of the highest quality insect in amber pieces you'll ever see. Watch out on the internet. It is full of copal and man-made pieces with insects in them. These are just world class. Here's the one. Let me just put this behind it for a moment, because you can see that's a mosquito, a big mosquito right there, and that's what makes me think that the whole Jurassic Park idea of getting DNA, not so totally ridiculous. Let me set that one real quick and just show you one more teaser I had here. I know it's mean to do, but someone's got to keep you fired up about them, right? I have a dumortierite in quartz, and talk about something unique and rare. That is a really special piece. Oh wait, hold on. Just before I get that far, I know I got to stop, but let me show you. Look at this. Look at this. I am going to be offering. Look at these rubies. Look at these rubies. I'm going to be offering those by batches of 10 carats. I have high quality rhodolite garnets, great color rhodolite garnets. Beautiful stuff you're going to get to see as well. And I tell you what, if you don't know what dumortierite and quartz is, you will, oh, here. There, that's what I was looking for. Let me just show you, oh, here, the last 2 days, sorry about that. Here we go. I have dendritic quartz. Look at this. You want to see something world class, museum class in a dendritic quartz? Look at that. Look at that. I mean, it wouldn't matter even if you didn't like rocks and minerals. You would find that incredibly fascinating. And then one more to wind you up. This will be the last one, I think, even though I could go on and on. Look at that. This is dumortierite in quartz. Yeah, look at that, Dave. Can we go in and do that magic close-up thing you do? Because this has such incredible crystallization. There we go. There we go. You are on it, Dave. Look at those blue crystals. Dumortierite, hardness of 8. Just a fascinating inclusion for quartz. All right, well, there's others, but our time is up. And wait till you see what's to come next week. All right, I'll be right back to say goodbye. Okay, so yes, we're doing trivia today. Didn't get to show as many items as I wanted to, and next week could be the same way, because the items I'm going to be showing need to be shown in a little bit of detail. So I am going to get worked out some of my magnification things. Basically, give my high-end loupe a good cleaning and my other ones, and I'm sure Asif would appreciate that. I can say one thing about Asif and about the way he likes a shot to look, and that is free of dust, dirt, grime, fingerprints, and I really admire him for that steadfastness in bringing you the cleanest, and we're not talking about $10,000, $20,000 rings here, as he kids me about my price points. He cares just as much about the way a $10 item looks as he does a $10,000 item, and it's made me want to clean my loops. It's made me want to bring you that same kind of shot. In other words, he's elevated my own personal level of what I want the shot to look like. I think everybody already knows that if I'm not feeling well or whatever, and if I feel like I'm going to deliver what I call a less than show, in other words, less than what I am comfortable doing, Awesome knows that I won't do it, even if it costs me dearly. And he's that way across all of production, all of the camera looks and everything. And when he worries about dust from one of my rocks in the shot, like he did on, I'm just going to show you on this, and even wiping it off, it wasn't, he didn't like it. And boy, how can you complain about that, So anyway, hats off to him about that, and I'm going to bring my felt roller in, I think, next week. So, okay, now, the first question is kind of something that we're going to go backwards in for your education, not something I showed today, but I was going to show you a little quick sampler of what I'm going to be showing you, another gemstone. Here's the thing. All this time, I've been showing you neat new mineral specimens, and you see how unusual I keep coming up with more and more stuff. But one thing that we haven't gotten into have been my cabochon collection, or unusual objects of art in Mother Nature's crystals, like the mortierite and quartz. Didn't know I had any of that, did you? How about the, not the Dominican Republic insects, which in amber, which are more common, the Baltic amber insects. And these aren't the small ones. So I want to be able to make sure I can show them to you in a way that warrants you understanding just how magnificent of a look that they are. They're really at a museum quality level. I mean, you're not going to find a lizard in them or anything like that, or a scorpion kind of thing. Beware, by the way, if you do see a scorpion in what they call amber, it's copal. I'm going to bring in a piece of copal, which is, young amber is an incorrect word. Copal is non-polymerized tree resin. That is, in other words, its age hasn't gotten to the point where the chemical change hasn't occurred within it to allow it to be called amber, which it has to harden, it has to go through other particular morphology in its chemical structure to be called legally amber. And what they can do is they take a scorpion and they remelt tree resin, copal, around it. I kid you not. I could tell you stories. They really are very creative at ways to deceive. So again, always buy from known sources. The internet is a known source of trouble in many, many ways. So, and including, they can, like I said earlier, when I was talking about the gold leaf, I did it. I looked it up intentionally to see how much gold leaf was going for. And I saw where it actually advertised and said, real gold leaf, $6.99. I said, wow, this could be, yeah, how real is this? And then, under mucho fine print, you still was very ambiguous as to what exactly was it that they were selling. Buyer beware, caveat emptor. So, we're going to, this question involves some knowledge that you should maybe and hopefully carried forward from a past lesson. And that is the discussion about zircons. We had a talk about low and high zircons, and we talked about how Mother Nature's natural radiation in the earth is what creates, and you'll remember this when I start using these fancy words, a zircon to become metamixed. In other words, amorphous. It loses its crystalline structure. That's how you get your green zircons. Your blue zircons are mostly, if not 100%, a product of, I know it's disappointing to hear this, but you just have to know it, mankind making them blue. Yep. I'm sorry, including those incredible blues. That means mankind's just messed with them more. A natural blue zircon? I don't really know if there is such a thing. But what there is there's natural zircons from Cambodia. And only, for the most part, those from Cambodia are the only ones that can be manipulated into becoming blue. And so still, I love a beautiful blue zircon. I truly do. And so I accept that because the color of the blue with the beautiful dispersion and brightness of those scintillating colors is, the closest thing to really a blue diamond, except maybe a little even more so than a blue diamond. But those really deeper blues, I really like them. So zircons come in a lot of different colors. I'm going to be showing some purplish, pinkish, red, small, affordable. Not those big red zircons. No, this is the Shawn show. This is where you can afford something. My question to you, and you may want to just think about this and think about what you've seen visually in your mind, how a blue zircon looks, a white zircon looks, a green zircon looks, a red zircon looks. If they were all lined up compared to each other, yellow zircon, champagne zircons. And this is where your database you're going to use is your memory of the visualization of the stones you've seen in those different colors. That said, here's the question. I will be showing pinkish red faceted zircons next week. Hopefully I'll get them done. But either way, you shouldn't have to see them to answer this question. Are the red, we'll just use red or reddish pink either way, are they a low zircon or a high zircon? And by low or high, what we mean by that is low zircons have a lower specific gravity, a lower refractive index, lower dispersion, and that's good enough. That's enough lows for the moment. High zircons are the opposite of that. They tend to be a little bit heavier, have a little bit greater dispersion, and have a higher refractive index. That said, again, are the red ones a low zircon or a high zircon? Question number 2. And I ask you this question because a lot of, we're all sold fairy tales since little children. And then as we get older, we start to find out the truth behind some of these fairy tales. Like the origin, what was Ring Around the Rosie about? Have you ever heard the real truth to that story? Exactly. Asif just said the Black Plague. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy. Ashes to ashes, we all fall down. Add the word dead. We don't actually listen to the words. And then when we do know that there's a dark side to the words, then all of a sudden you apply the dark side to it, and they all dead, ashes to ashes. Really? It starts to make sense. And they're all like that. So, what we have done to Valentine's Day and Cupid is the same thing. We've made, we got it so skewed to a hallmark vision of the truth that we forget the reality of it. Until someone comes along like me and totally pops your balloon about love, but you learn something. And on that one, your question is this. Venus, goddess Venus, beautiful Venus. But she was a jealous Venus. Who was Venus so jealous of that she told her son to shoot her? What was the name of her son, and who was she jealous of? What was the name of Venus's son, and who was she so jealous of? And I'll bet 9 out of 10 people will have just learned something if you had followed my presentation, and makes you think and look at love completely differently. I had a great time. You're going to have even a better time next week. I am so excited about, I want to say a new discovery, but these pieces, they weren't even the best ofs that I quickly flashed. So we'll see what we get to next week, and don't pass up any of those items you saw today. I didn't show that many, so it's not going to break anybody's piggy bank, but make sure you set aside a little bit of that Christmas money you might have gotten for some treasures that are becoming so difficult to find. And I have a lot of other surprises other than those too. I am glad my voice made it through the show. Thank you for your patience in putting up with that, or any awkwardness I had in trying to present some unusual items to you, from a big rock to a little one. All of you, I hope this is an amazing year for you and for all of us. Thank you for your nonstop kind words and consideration in continuing to support this show. I appreciate it more than words will ever express. And I know Asif and all of Gem Shopping here as well do, because all of us need all of you. God bless. Take care. Can't wait to see you next week.